So now we will come to the final components, only based on that you achieve the same styling and the same components that I have. For that we will go a different way, because in some cases eventually you're interested in different ways to create components. In that example we will create it on the more angular way. You can also type ng generate component, then typing the path where you want to create a component. Here we want to create a weather card forecast, and if we're creating it like that, we have here the folder. And the benefit of this is that because Angular defaultly creating standalone components, we have everything typed correctly. And this will be the new way to achieve this. So what we also creating is again a second component. It will be inside of the weather card forecast. We want to have a weather forecast day. That's like a separate day perspective of the weather card, because now what we're now doing is we adding to this component a new part. Here we make this div element with class footer and a padding of 4. And here we will use our new app weather card forecast component with a class forecast, because we want to adjust it a little bit. But for the moment we can get rid of it because it gets styled most likely in its own component. So the weather card forecast component will then use our, for the moment, like our weather forecast day component, and have a small styling where we want to have the host to be a flex container that has justified content space evenly, a gap of 0.5 UM, and an align items center. That means it will place this forecast day centered inside of it. Ready to learn Angular 19, 20, and 21. This course covers everything new in this latest versions. From hydration, event replay, resource API, signal forms, we cover it all. You will get a complete playground app showcasing all features. Plus, we will build a weather app from scratch to implement everything hands-on. Full source code for both projects included. Check the link in the description. If we now start the application, we should already see how the component looks like. I think we have not saved the component side. Yeah, we're now seeing like it's not really good or easy to read, but here we have the weather forecast day works. To have a better contrast, we will make a small adjustment on the main page, on the weather cut, and adding one small styling for the footer part to have it in a more contrast way. As you can see now, we have now here like a section that have a different color for our forecast part of the application. And we will create inside of the forecast component like a small padding top to have it better placed. Yeah, now it is like nearly centered perfectly and we have a little bit more space. Okay. Now we continue on the day component. That one has a few elements. We'll again copy the styling of it or the HTML and we'll go over it. We have here an H4 element, which means it's a larger text with the text mon for Monday. We have here an image with the page we will later use for our weather getting, and it provides us an icon that we can use specific based on the weather that is in the specific location. We will show a temperature and we will show which weather will be at that specific day. For this day, we will have a little bit of styling. We telling the host to be a flex container, and it should be a column one, and it should center its content again and make a gap. For the weather icon, we specify an height and a width. All icons that we get from the service that we are using from the open weather map will be in an aspect ratio from 1 to 1, which means we can make the width and the height an even width and height. Also, this icon is like cropped, which means if we're scaling it, we're achieving that the icon itself is really in that range, because otherwise we have to make more width because the icon itself has like a wide room around it or an empty room around it, and with the scaling we achieve that this icon is really as big as the range that we want. And also to make it look nicer, because it's a transparent image, we can use the filter drop shadow to make this icon have a shadow and showing like a fancy background. As we can see now, we have this cloud here, we have here this Monday, and if we look at the container, as you already can see, we have this Monday is misaligned. We will quickly fix this issue. Okay, I think it's because we not align item center. Exactly. And now we have the icon. And as I have shown to you already, we made this 70 pixel by 17. But if you would use the scale 1, it would be relatively small. And this container itself is relatively big, which means the scaling not should make a problem in any way. But as you can see here, this drop shadow make it look more unique and special. Yeah, that's it with the creation of the components. We will, of course, then use this day component multiple times, which then like showing in a raw and can show the different days based on what day you are currently, which means it will automatically update then, and we will show, of course, for the location the more specific details. Alright, the next part will be then starting to use data, and we will then go over it and really use the real data from the real world to get the specific data that we need.